I get your point, but you don't have to lie. This video is brought to you by Quest Microsystems. Quest Microsystems, a company that has developed a low-energy cartridge, which is a non-lethal weapon that can be used in the home as well as in law enforcement. I believe it gives you a tremendous diversity in your personal life, and also for the professionals out there, the people in law enforcement and also in the military, it gives you flexibility with a tactical weapon that will not kill people. It's something that I think is the country is going to. I think it's a great tactic to have, so some of these police departments don't always have to go to deadly force when situations don't present themselves as deadly force situations. But Quest Microsystems is a publicly traded company. I'm an advisor with Quest Microsystems. The link is in the description section. If you're interested, like and subscribe to this channel on YouTube, and also download the podcast, The B. Tatum Show. Download the podcast on all podcasting platforms. Y'all know what to do. Let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen and ladies, I always have to be the bearer of reality, and I feel like I take a lot of shots for it because people are just not bold enough to tell the truth. Let me just make this statement. I'm not doing this channel for everybody to like me. I'm doing this channel to expose truth, and the people who want the truth will follow. So let me just go on to this real quick. I'm not going to show the gentleman's face, even though you may see who it is. My intention is not to show his face. I like the guy, man. I don't want to embarrass him. But we cannot do this. This is the stupidity of the left that we are engaged in, and it's unacceptable, and I'm going to show you exactly why. Now, let me preface, because I feel like a lot of people's brains don't work properly. None of y'all, because y'all perfect. I'm talking about people that are new to the channel that have not subscribed yet. But people's brains doesn't work yet. They take one thing that you say and then they make it into whatever you want to say. First and foremost, I think if any law enforcement officer is violating your Constitution, that law enforcement officer should be held accountable. The police department should be held accountable. It's unacceptable. If any police officer is trying to arrest you for something that's not even a law, it's unacceptable. But we need to be able to differentiate between the reality of things that are happening and call it out, and stop lying about things to get clicks and likes. Let's read this. It says NYPD attacks a 5-year-old eating pizza. Take off your badge and oath breaker. New York City has failed the state. This is a bunch of bullcrap. This kid was never attacked. The police officer, I don't think, ever spoke to him until the very end, where I think he was trying to figure out if he was trying to get his mom or not. This table has 2 kids at it and adults at it. These police officers went to more than just this table. Understand the law. I'm going to play this video, and you're going to hear the police officer lament to the things that I'm saying. Police are not out here in the situations that I've seen arresting people because of the juice, because of the Wuhan. That's not a law, ladies and gentlemen. What is a law is trespassing. Now, you may disagree with the private business making a decision to say you need to show paperwork in order to eat in our restaurant. You may disagree with it. I think it's stupid. However, a private business can refuse service from you if they so desire. If they have a particular rule, whether it's you can't wear sportswear, it's, well, I'm not going to bake that particular cake because that's against my moral beliefs. Or it's that I want you to show paperwork to protect the patrons that are in this establishment, to make sure that you're not going to spread something to people and we be held liable. Do I agree that it makes sense? No, I think it's stupid. I think all this is stupid. However, a private business has the right to do that. And the police are not showing up because they're doing it. They ask you to leave, you refuse. Now you are trespassing according to the law. After a reasonable request to leave, you have to leave an establishment. If you have a civil rights claim or you have a discriminatory claim, then you can take that up outside of sitting in the restaurant arguing with people. When the police show up and they ask you to leave, if you refuse, you will be arrested for trespassing. That has nothing to do with the Wuhan. That has nothing to do with the juice. Please. God, it just bothers me. Roll the film. Let me make sure the sound is on. Roll the film. Listen to what the cop said. They didn't even talk to the kid. He was just afraid, and he got up and walked and started walking around.
You can't serve otherwise. If you're not going to patron, you know, you have the card. I know, but you don't have it, then you're going to have to leave. And if not,
He said, do you have the card? Well, ma'am, if you don't have the card, you're going to have to leave. Why? Because that's the restaurant policy. That's not the police department policy. That's the restaurant's policy. He's talking to an adult. He spoke to that kid one time. Of course, the kid is intimidated because there's police officers there. But if you're a parent, why put your kids in this situation? This is the thing that bothers me. I understand protesting. If you want to protest and you want to make a statement, you know, Martin Luther King did it. You want to make a statement and you feel like this the hill you want to die on, go ahead. I support you. But don't be a victim and bring your kids into it. Why you got your kids there if you know you're going to protest and have a conflict with police and you got your kids there? Kids don't need to be involved in this. Okay. And now one time is he talking to this kid. He gestures at the woman. The kid walks over because his mom is it looked like his mom is on the side over there.
You came in with jacket?
Wow. Scaring a child, traumatizing a child. Hope you feel good about yourself, NYPD. This is disgusting. This is gross.
You guys failed us last night. You failed us last night. You all failed us. We're here for you and your kids.
All right, so this is a small clip. The lady, one of the ladies that was there came on my live stream last night and had to admit to a bunch of things that I can see clearly in this video. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, and like I said, some people ain't gonna like what I have to say about this. If you see a police officer arrest a person for not having a juice card or arrest a person for the Wuhan, show me the video and I'll make a video about that because that's not a law. You can't arrest somebody for something that's not a law. But if you go to an establishment where you know they are requiring this because of the mandate from the federal government and the mandate from some of these crazy mayors and governors, you know they have a mandate. You intentionally go into a store and they ask you to present paperwork according to their rules. You say, I'm not going to do it. Fine. Don't do it. But then when they call the police, don't play the victim. Don't play the victim. Understand that you're going to get arrested over this. And you want to make a point that the rules of the store is illegitimate, not the police. The rules of the store and the establishment. The police do not require you to get the juice. Police do not require you to get the juice. It's these establishments. It's the government. It's these idiots that you voted in the office. It has nothing to do with the police. And I don't understand why people don't get that. The cops are there to enforce trespassing. And the funny thing is that people want to pick and choose the way they want police to act. Let's give the baker, for example. You had the couple come in, the LGBTQ awoke people come in and say, I want a cake baked like this. The people said, look, I'm not baking that cake. I'm not baking it. I'm sorry. Now, if they said, I'm not baking a cake, which I think they have the right to, it's their business. Businesses have rights. And they say, well, I'm not baking a cake. And the person want to say, well, I'm not leaving. And they say, sir, you need to leave. We're not baking a cake. You're not going to sit in here and harass us all day about this cake. You need to leave. And the police came and escorted them out. Not one person would say that's a problem. Businesses can refuse for whatever reason. And you know what? They felt that the cake situation was illegitimate. What did they do? They went to court. The police can't enforce your civil rights claim if you feel like you've been discriminated against. It's not a law that I've been discriminated against. That's a civil feat. You have to take people up in civil court to sue them. If they assault you, that's different. But if they discriminate against you based on, they have discriminatory policies, that needs to be investigated. You can't deliberate that sitting there at somebody's table. You have to go through a process to bring that up. You need attorneys that know civil rights law. They call them civil rights attorneys or whatever. I don't know what other attorneys would be applicable in, your complaint of a business treating you improperly or violating your rights. That's not the police, ladies and gentlemen. Understand the functionality of law enforcement. They go, well, they let everybody protest and they didn't say nothing when they were protesting. It's like, you got to understand, this is a trespassing. It takes 5 officers to go to a trespassing. When you're talking about a riot where 10,000 people, 20,000 people, thousands of people are in the streets, police don't even have the resources to combat that. And then the mayors and governors are saying you can't act. It's only property damage. You can only go in if somebody get hurt. And then once it's overrun, there's not enough police officers. Because if the police officers run out there and the citizens decide to turn on the police, they outnumber them 1,000 to 1. 1,000 to 1. Sometimes 1,000 to 2, depending on how large the police department is. But it's no more than that. They outnumber the cops. And if people start attacking cops, not y'all because y'all perfect, people will be mad because cops are going to be forced to use deadly force against people. And so you're going to see cops spraying a crowd of people in order to protect themselves from being killed. We don't want to see that. So they say, hey, it's property damage. We're not going to get into a position where we're going to have to take people's lives in order to defend ours if they decide to turn and attack us. These governors need to call in the National Guard for reinforcement for law enforcement. There's not enough cops. But don't blame the police, man. But if you show me a video where the police are doing wrong, I'll make a video about it. But you can't show me a video where a business tells you to leave and you refuse. And then you get mad at the cops for arresting you for trespassing. I'm going to say this and I'm done. They can't just let you do what you want to do. They have to enforce the law impartially. Some of these cops probably don't agree with this. Some of them probably can't wait to take you to jail. But you have to be impartial. You have to be impartial. If I was a police officer, I would be impartial to this. You can argue with this in court if you believe you have a civil rights claim. This is not for police to decide. I will go to an establishment and I'll do just like this officer did. I'll give them ample amount of time to leave. None of these people at this table got arrested. I'll give them an ample amount of time to leave. I'm encouraging to leave. You can leave the establishment. These people have rights to kick you out. You may disagree with it. Here's how you deal with your disagreement. That has nothing to do with me. And just like if there was a business that said, hey, you can't wear Trump apparel or anti-Trump apparel in our store. If I showed up there, I'd say, they said they don't want you to wear it. You're wearing it. They've asked you to leave. According to the law, you are trespassing. You must leave. Or I have to arrest you for a misdemeanor trespassing. If there's a place that said you can't wear Biden shirts, you can't wear anti-Biden shirts in it, I'll go to the place and I'll say, they said this. Under the law, they're covered and ask you to leave. This is their policy. This is their business. I don't care what I agree with. You can't wear the shirt in here. They've asked you to leave. After a reasonable request for you to leave, you're refusing. You're going to be arrested for trespassing. And this is not in a comparison to the Nazi Germany. Quit being stupid. This ain't got nothing to do with nobody getting sent to an internment camp. And I don't believe that this is going down a slippery slope. These people can still make an argument, yell, cuss, talk crazy to these people, video record, and when the police ask them to leave, they can just leave. And they could come back another time and cause a problem and then leave. They're not taking you anywhere. They're not even arresting people. Anyway, I could talk about this for 45 more minutes, and I know people ain't gonna like this because a lot of people are sheep. It's the same thing that happened with the Donald Trump thing. People can criticize Donald Trump, and it doesn't mean you turned on him. But I had 1,000 people decide they didn't want to follow me no more, which is fine because 3,000 people followed me the very next day. So 1,000 people didn't want to follow me. And the same thing's going to happen here. It's tyranny. We can't go down this path of dividing ourselves and being anti-police. This has nothing to do with police. Quit being so quick to turn on police. They're enforcing a law that's on the book. and it's not hurting you. It's a private business. Now, if they come to your house and they ask you about your paperwork, that's a different story. Then yeah, of course, it's against the Constitution. Of course you can fight back because they are the ones violating your rights, not the business. Anyway, I love you guys. Comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Download this podcast on all podcasting platforms, whichever one you prefer. That link is in the description section. Quest Microsystems, publicly traded company. That link is also in the description section if you're interested in investing. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I'll talk to you, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.